What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us. This episode, we have Kyle Berry from San Diego Dynasty. He just got back from the ESPN 3v3 World Championship, and we are heading to Boston this weekend to coach the Team USA youth squad. So this was a great episode. Tons of insight, tons of great knowledge from Kyle, as always. Without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
This episode of the Play the Game podcast is brought to you by LoneWolfPaintball.com. And when it comes to paintball, Lone Wolf is the name you can trust. They have been in the game since the very beginning as Michigan's premier field and supplier since 1987. And Lone Wolf has built a legacy of excellence, passion, and service that runs deep in the game. From their top-tier customer service to same-day shipping on all orders, Lone Wolf makes sure that you are locked and loaded with your new gear fast. No waiting around, no hassle, just the best brands in paintball delivered straight to your door. They've got it all. Markers, loaders, tanks, apparel, accessories, and more from all of your favorite brands. And whether you're just getting started in the game or gearing up for your next big event, LoneWolfPaintball.com has everything you need. Be sure to check out their YouTube channel at Lone Wolf Paintball and follow them on Instagram at Lone Wolf PB to stay up to date on all the latest gear, exclusive sales, and community content. At Play the Game Podcast, we are incredibly grateful for Lone Wolf's continued support, and we cannot wait for you to become a part of their growing community. Head on over to LoneWolfPaintball.com right now and gear up with the best in the game.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
PTG World, we're back at it, episode 305, and we have none other than the legendary Kyle Berry in the house. Good to see you, bro. How you doing?
Dude, ecstatic to be here, man. I love talking to you too, and you guys' show is crushing it. So thank you so much for letting me be here.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, we've been having fun. Episode 305. So we've been on a mission of mercy for the last 5 years. And you were actually one of the earlier guests that we had on the show. So thank you for being a day one and always rocking with us on the adventure, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, being in the marketing world, I appreciate anybody that's putting content out there and really trying to grow the sport by telling people about the sport. And you guys have done not just an amazing job of getting paintball stories out there, but getting the story of paintball to other people. Like some of the other guests that you guys have on here, I think are awesome. I listen to almost every episode, and just, your overall relationship, you two, and how you bring it into the conversation, your professionalism, which I think is huge, is awesome. So huge supporter of the show, huge fan of what you guys are doing. And I was just saying to Marsh before we started this dude, I was in such a different part of life when we had our first show compared to now. So just to see everyone's growth, especially in the paintball community, is beautiful to see.
Yeah, man. Damn, March, let's go.
On, baby. Let's go, bro. That's great. That's a great little note there. Yeah, Kyle, when you were on the show last, you said it was like in one of the first 50 episods.
I believe so. Yeah, I'd have to go see the number, but it was early on.
Yeah,
that's
early
crazy.
On. We were barbaric back then.
We're still barbaric.
Yeah, our cameras, everything. But yeah, as we were talking, like you were kind of traveling through Italy, you were living out there. Definitely life was in an entirely different spot, but yeah, it's great to see where all three of us have gotten to. Really, that's a long time ago. It's like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, man. I mean, and honestly, I think it's just like we've done in paintball. It's the persistency and it's the desire to be better. Right? Those two things combined make a very powerful human being, and you guys have proven that through and through. I mean, not just in the episodes, but you guys continue to do this through all the stuff that you have to do. Like, our lives aren't easy, bro. That having to deal with either family or business as well as paintball, and then the craziness that paintball brings plus life, and still continue to do this week in and week out. The persistency should be just a shining star for everyone out there of like, can I go out there and find success with something that I'm doing? Fuck yeah, just do it. You know what I mean? And don't slow down and push through all the problems that you see, and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's when you turn around and say, I want to give up, is when that light disappears.
Damn, I love that, Kyle. You're right, man. And there's so many people in this community that are able to reflect that image that you're talking about of persistency and just driven characters. There's so many of them in the sport, whether you're at the top or in the divisional, it doesn't matter. They're everywhere. And you're able to kind of reflect that imagery and emulate it, you know, and make it part of your repertoire to make you the best version of yourself So that's one of the more beautiful things about this game is, Maddie, we always talk about the gifts of the game. There's so many of them, but one of the most important ones is the relativity of being able to bounce ideas off of other people and grow and have new ideas for growth, which, dude, you've been absolutely crushing it. Let's kind of talk about your progression from so many years ago. It's been since you've been on the show. So thank you so much for dropping by and welcome back.
Wait a sec. We had you on after you went to Dynasty. Didn't you call in?
I think you did call in.
I think I did call in once. I think the first one I was on was very, very early. And then I had a call in when I was on Dynasty. Yeah. Just,
that's right.
Just ecstatic through the teeth. You know what I mean? Just like super amped. Still am, dude. It's not slowing down. It's been one of the most beautiful, just changes in my life, being around Dynasty. And it's not that the team is incredible. The organization's awesome, but it's the first time ever. And, I've tried a lot of this of finding my idols, right? Finding people that I've read about in books, and I go to meet them in person. And a lot of times you get disappointed, but the Dynasty guys, man, they Ryan, Yosh, Alex, Blake, Artur, all these guys that have kind of solidified what that name is over the years. They didn't disappoint at all, man. They really are good people to be around. And after years of trying to grow good people with the King program and like trying to bring up young kids, it's such a breath of fresh air. And no knock to those kids whatsoever. They were just kids, man, trying to find their way in life, where the Dynasty guys are way more solidified and understanding of who they are and how they approach life.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, those guys have been around since the beginning of the game, basically, especially like this iteration of it. They've been doing it for such a long time at the top of the game too. I mean, it's unparalleled really in any sport. So definitely what they've done is very special. What they continue to do is special. And I think we talked about this when you did call in, but again, just so happy for you, because I've obviously gotten to know you and work pretty closely with you over the last couple of years, and like seeing how much effort you put in on a daily basis and how much you care. Like, I don't know many people that care more than you about the game. I really don't, on and off the field. So to see you in a spot where you can thrive and be around people that are going to help you grow is really cool to see, and you deserve it,
Thank you, Marsh. I mean, that means a lot, man. That does. Just loving it, man. Loving it. And I think I said it the first time I was on this show 4 years ago, whatever it might be, but it's still my why today. Like, my goal is to take this league to the next level. My goal is to, next 5 to 10 years to be the Dana White of paintball, and purchase this from Tom and use all the marketing knowledge that I've been accumulating over the last 10 years and all the connections that I have to build what we know this sport can be, right? And Tom's already on that warpath. So much respect to that guy for getting us on ESPN that progression there. But, there's, I truly believe that it could be one of the biggest sports in the world. And my motivation every day stems from that single piece of like, if no one else is going to do it, I'm going to be the guy where if my little daughter's 2 years old right now, if she gets at 17, 18, 19, and she wants to go play professional paintball, that she sees $1 million contract on the back end of that, where we really get recognized for the sport as it is. Like, dude, Ty, you saw it on the ESPN thing. We're standing there with a group of other sports that we got kind of clumped in with, that all those other athletes were watching us and going, damn, like that was way more intense than what we're about to do. Or that was crazy, man. Like, they were impressed by what we were doing. And it shows that I believe, and I think all of us here in paintball believe, that this sport is a level above a lot of those other secondary sports. I mean, I believe it's right on the cusp of those major sports of baseball, basketball, football. We just haven't sold it and presented it the right way.
I couldn't agree more, man. And I get a lot of pushback when I say stuff like that. I was actually on our subsidiary show, the Spick and Span show, that we picked up and are owning now, and was talking with them about this, about how I think paintball is one of the greatest sports ever created. And it actually is so close to one of your big traditional sports. It's closer to one of your big traditional sports than you think. I know it's an extreme sport, and there's a lot of different ways to play paintball. You can be in the woods. You can have as many players or as few as you want. It's a very, very unique game in that regard, that it comes in so many shapes and forms, and you can really have fun with it in a myriad of ways. But there is a form of this that we're creating at this very moment that could be one of the biggest sports in the world if it's captured correctly, and we're working diligently. Everyone is. We have so many great minds, all of us sitting here, so many people behind the scenes that you've never heard of, that really care about paintball and want to see it be great. And I do believe that, Kyle, you are correct. It has the potential to be one of the biggest sports in the world for sure.
Just got to learn how to sell it. I think that's
and you got to capture it. You got to capture it.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of talked about this. Once again, it's all about the camera angles, and then also having time for just you literally just have to copy the big sports that are doing it, and making the money. Just copy what they're doing. Mirror what they're doing as closely as you possibly can. And it's a little bit different with paintball because there's so many paintballs flying. I think Jason Trosen hit a home run. He was the one that spearheaded the yellow paint at the ESPN event, and it is so nice. And I think that if we're going to have a paintball that's going to change the game, it's going to be a yellow shell with a pink fill. I think the pink fill would be best if you can get the pink in there, so the markability super bright, you don't miss any shots, because the yellow does kind of blend in a little bit even in the sunlight. I don't know, it does something to the yellow to where you can't see it as well as a pink. But I think that if we did like a yellow ball with pink fill, I think that would be amazing.
I heard you say that, Ty, and I disagreed at first, and then when you brought up the way it marks, it's a really good point. The bummer about that is then you have to have two protected colors. And I just don't like the way the pink looks when it breaks. Like, it just, from a camera angle, I feel like it looks messy. It makes the fields look
orange.
Orange wouldn't be horrible. I think,
orange.
Dude, I'm so in love with the yellow. I'm so in love with the neon yellow. It looks so professional. Your mind already connects it with other professional things. Like you brought up tennis. Yeah. I feel like that was one of the biggest home runs from the 3-on-3 to me. The neon paint just looked so good.
It does.
And what's funny is that's what we were always talking about when we were
the
last 3 years on the show. We're like, neon paint, we need bright shell, and then all of a sudden we got pink, and we're like, I guess we'll take it, but that's not what we meant,
Yeah.
I think the pink looks worse. I really do. I think it makes the field look a little messy, the pink paint. But you made a great point. It does stand out better when it breaks on people, which is important.
For the refs and just for them being able to make the calls a little bit easier. But once again, it's like, maybe that becomes an element of the game where it's like, oh, it kind of blended in. He couldn't see it,
Well, but also I this got brought up in the Discord, and I definitely agree with this. Like, I think cheating should be punished at a much larger extent. Like, in the game when it happens, maybe it's just a major penalty, but if it goes to review, or if a player is ever caught on camera, like intentionally cheating, getting rid of a hit, I think it should be a suspension. You make it incredibly difficult
for the rest of the game. Yeah,
I think I would argue even for a tournament, like, you make it so, because for the rest of the game, maybe you don't have time to retroactively do it. You make it such a severe punishment. It's like doping in other sports, or like anything, like cheating in a paintball match. If you get rid of a hit, that is such a difference maker. It's game changing. You're like winning and losing tournaments based on this. So I think it really should be something we look into having a very severe punishment for, to deter people from doing it. And again, you don't want to put enough, and I know this would be Jason's argument, you don't want to put enough control in the ref's hands to do in real time, because what's the line of, like, did he actually feel that as he was sliding out to the corner or not? You're allowing a ref to, imply intention to a player. So that makes it kind of difficult. But again, I think it should be a review system to where there's a committee that decides this, just like in the NBA, it gets sent to a committee when they're, reviewing certain things. There should be something that you can review, and it's like, that is absolutely an intentional cheat. 5 of us agree, and this player is suspended for the next tournament. I think it would clean the game up a ton. Who's going to risk that, And it really is the game is still kind of the Wild West in that regard. We have really good refs on the pro field, better than ever. But as you work your way down the divisionals, it definitely, like, there's a lot of chaos that goes on. I mean, we've all walked by those fields, and any regional field, there's a lot of stuff that people get away with. And if they see pros do it on camera, like, why wouldn't they do it? You hear too many people say, oh, it's like kind of part of the game. Well, it doesn't have to be. We just need to make the rules a little stricter, I think. Like, play the game with some integrity. That getting rid of hits is, to me, it's like such a scandalous thing.
That's the biggest point that you just made, Marcelo, is like we highlight it like it's part of the game. Like, I think everyone that's been in the game for a bit will remember Alex Goldman's wipe in 2011. NPPL was running for
that was Alex Frazier. That was Alex Frazier.
No way. I'll bring up the video.
Look at the jersey, bro. It's Alex Frazier.
Yeah, okay, the jersey. Afraid you don't run like that.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. That's Frazier for sure. You got to keep an eye on that guy.
Always got his boys back. But we highlight it, right? We like make it into a thing that's like a part of the game and like something that's cool. And that's a no-go, man. I mean, I think it's still. I've talked to people that believe that they want this to be a skateboard sport where it's more of like a rough net. It's not publicly recognized. It's not in the position of actual growth. But this is the announcement that I would love to make on here is if you guys don't know, paintball is down across the board. Every field, every manufacturer. I do a lot of advertising for a bunch of different companies in here. And in general, the recognition of paintball and the love of paintball across the US and across the world is going down. And it's not in a good direction whatsoever. It's not a little dip. It's a consistent downkeep in the actual volume of people playing. And we need, as a community, if you want this thing to survive, because what happens is we're going to start seeing a cannibalism of the industry soon. We're going to start seeing certain industries and certain sponsors that we know and love falling off. And these are people that are putting their hard-earned life, their hard-earned time, and their money into the pockets of paintball players and the opportunities of paintball players. Yes, are they making cash from it? Of course, it's business. It's how it is. But once you have people that fall out from the industry that are putting life, energy, time, and effort into the growth because it's not growing, you lose the opportunity for growth. And that's what we really care about. We want to know we can grow. And it really, we're at a pivotal moment here, especially with ESPN just coming out. We have World Cup coming up at the end of this year, which should be a massive, massive event, which Tom seems very serious about promoting and getting out to the general masses. But the community of paintball has an opportunity right now to really step up in a positive way after the ESPN show, after we're getting this national level recognition to support their fields and support the game, because it's a little bit scary talking to, Core and talking to Dynasty, talking to Infamous, talking to all these companies that are trying to put their name out there to run a business within paintball and realizing the community is fading a bit. It really starts at the local field. I know we've all said this before, but it's not so much the field owner doing it. It's the 20 to 50 to 100 kids that go to that field trying to help drive customers through the front door, right? And working the sport in a way where we're not ashamed of the fact that we play paintball. We love the fact that we play paintball. All three of us know this and we talk about it, but the general populace needs to have that love and that push to move consumers into the world of paintball in a positive way to get them to play. And it's tough because not all the field owners are going to step up and take the responsibility. And a lot of them are fading away, man. A lot of these guys were old-term paintball players that just loved the game and built a sport and then realized to run an entertainment business, which is what paintball is not an easy thing to do in any way, shape, or form. And everyone compares to COVID when paintball was the only thing that could actually run. So they had successful years. But now the competition is back. The sharks are circling you and they're trying to take every customer you got. Would the kid's birthday party be held at a paintball field or a bowling alley? And when the mom gets hit with 17 different ads for the bowling alley and doesn't hear about paintball a single time, she's going to pick the bowling alley, and we lose the potential for growth. And we gotta, as a community, we got to work towards a better environment to bring people into the world of paintball.
Yeah, you're right, man. And it starts with the local parks and stores. And in your opinion, what can we do in our local communities? Like, there's tons of people out there from across the nation, across the world, that have their local communities. What are some ideas or tactics that we can implement into our local communities to drive people to go pick up a paintball marker and go to their local field, play some recreational paintball, and fall in love with the game?
I would say two major things. One, at the fields, let's make sure that we understand that we're all there playing paintball. We're all weird. We all love this sport. We all do this because we enjoy it. Make a happy and loving environment at the field. Yes, you want to be competitive. You want to be bunkering people. You want to, yes, but we do it in a way because we all love paintball. So when a new kid comes in with their parents to play for the first time, be supportive, have a structure behind just understanding like, yeah, shoot my gun, go out there and play. Don't dunk the little kid in the head with 12 shots to the back. It's just not the right way to go about it. We need to understand when somebody walks into the community, they need to be appreciative of the community, because that dad might be the guy that, has connections to the YMCA, brings 50 more kids, or he starts his own program. The parents are real big needle movers inside. And then the second
part, this is huge. What you just said right there is absolutely pivotal for our success. I mean, I cannot stress this enough. If we do not make this the sport where mom and dad or whoever come out there and say, wow, this is a great community. I love this. I want my child to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. If your local community isn't just putting all their chips into that basket of making it the most amazing energy and experience possible, and that goes with the paintball and the marker as well. You know, we want to make this experience as great as possible to make sure we have returning customers. Yo, who do we got in the background? Who is that?
You hear little Harper Maeve? She's
Harper.
Singing. Harper, yeah, she's singing. She's running around.
Bring her on PTG. Come on.
As soon as she comes around, she's loud enough now. You're hearing her from the other room. As soon as she comes around, I'll pull her on. But
awesome.
the second part of that, which doesn't exist in the paintball community, and I don't know why, but I have maybe 10. Oh, here she comes. I have about 10 to 15 different businesses that made their first $1 million off affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing
Introduce her. You have to.
She's working through her way through the gate right now. Don't worry. I tried to block her off, but she's a menace. Come here, Harper.
There you go.
There's about 10 to 15 different businesses that I work with right now that made their way through affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is using outside sources, specific individuals, to leverage their audience profile, leverage their people to sell products for their business. We, as paintball players, are all affiliate marketers for the fields that we play at, right? But there is no system through the field to give it to us, right? If every single field decided to say, okay, all these competitive kids that, my margin on them aren't good. I'm going to make $5 to $10 off each time they come in, but I can guarantee rain, sleet, snow, whatever, they're showing up. Say hi, Harper, mate, if you're on PTG.
Oh my God. Harper,
Harper.
she's so small. Oh, is she
Can you say
two?
hi? You're about to be two.
Oh my God. She's waving at everybody. Shout out to the YouTube. Get in there. Oh my God. Hi.
Oh,
she got shy.
She's so cute, man. That's awesome. Congratulations to you and the fam. Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a second one on the way in December, man.
Oh boy, you're about to be busy, Bubba. Oh
yeah,
man.
Good timing, by the way. Smart man. Make sure it's
Summer,
season time.
My wife knows when World Cup is and everything. We balance it. Actually, we met with Harper. She was born 6 days before World Cup. She was at World Cup at 6 days old.
Wow.
Yeah, baby, dude. She now, if she hears a paintball gun, she's paintball. It's so cute, dude.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
The second part is affiliate marketing, right? So this is something that I don't understand why fields haven't grabbed a hold of this. This is a type of marketing and advertising that's not regularly known, but if used correctly, I think would be immensely powerful. You have these group of consumers that are loyal customers, competitive players. That's all they are. They're just loyal customers. It's the only thing we should describe them as. As a loyal customer, you have the ability to leverage them and their love for your business to try to drive in more business. So if I went out and I was a field owner and I said that, okay, Tyler, you're still in Arizona. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yep. So if I go to your field and say, hey, Tyler, and all of these other players, right? I'm going to print out these little coupons. These coupons are $5 off entry. Each, you have a name. Your name's going to be on this coupon. And I'm going to build a QR code specifically for you, a landing page specifically for Tyler. If you drive people here and they sign up, they'll get $5 off entry and you'll get credit for it. For every 5 people that you bring in, I'm going to give you half a case of paint, whatever it might be, right? You now have an incentive piece that's going to cost you very little as a field owner to drive people to the front door. And you have just created 100 salespeople within your company. All of these individuals that love the sport now have a reason to talk about it. Now, when they go out to lunch that afternoon and they're trying to hit on their waitress and talk about paintball, they're going to slide them that $5 off entry so that they show up, right? They're
definitely not getting the phone number. They might get them to scan the QR code, but
they ain't getting the phone number. But there's a problem at the current structure that we have with an understanding of how the sale of paintball goes. Recreational sales are the highest gross revenue, highest gross profit that you're going to have from an individual one-time sale. When you come to loyal customers like us that play every single weekend, our individual revenue and profit is very, very low per sale, but our lifetime value is massive because we're there every single weekend, twice a week or whatever it might be, right? And they haven't connected the two to understand that the main area where they're going to make their profitability is when they go from recreational to competitive, because that time lapse there is the sale of the gear, is the 2 cases a day at full cost, is the entry at full cost, until they've become that loyal customer that says, hey, dude, I've spent $100,000 at your field over the last 3 years. Could I get, half off of entry? And now you become a problem, right? And that's a general mentality of these fields. But they need to have that system that moves them from the recreational to competitive, because there's a massive amount of profit there. And then once they are competitive, they need to leverage them correctly. Like, hey, you love my field. I love you. You're here every weekend. Help me bring more people in. Let's build an affiliate program together. And that's really synergy between the competitive players and the field, which it's been so weird talking to field owners about how that doesn't exist, man. There's people that love competitive and they support competitive players, and there's people that hate competitive and they don't support competitive players at all. And that's it. And there's no in between or business structure between either of them. Right. So it's a big thing. I know Billy Saransky from Core was talking about having a Core event this year where he's going to bring in all of his fields. And this is the main topic of conversation that I was going to talk about when I got there, which was just how to move a recreational player to competitive and the amount of revenue and profit that comes from that position. But I mean, I know you guys have a lot of field owners. You have a lot of people that are playing. If you're a player, go talk to your field, look that store owner right in the eye and say, I come here every weekend. I love what I do. I'd love to help tell people about it. Can I get a kickback for it? Can I work? Let's do business. You give me money, I give you money. That's business, right? Yeah. And then as a field owner listening to this, use the people that are your loyal customers to build look up affiliate marketing, use ChatGPT or Google, whatever you need to do. Understand how to build an affiliate marketing program through the hundreds of salespeople that you already have walking through your front door that would love to sell for your business if you gave them a kickback in one way, shape, or another.
Damn. I love that.
Yeah, Kyle, I mean, you make a great point. We've talked about for a long time the importance of converting the rec ball player to the tournament player, right? So like step one is getting new rec ball players, but then step two is converting them and capturing them and turning them into, you know, the type of player that's committed, loyal at your field, you know, multiple times a week, like you said. And you're right. That is a great way to do it. You see it in, I mean, every industry uses affiliate marketing, you know, it's amazing that we don't, you know, but again, it's a lot of the field owners are just kind of archaic, you know, and you're right there. It's not that they're just not necessarily business people. Some of them are, right? But many aren't. They're lifelong paintball players that were like, oh, I want to start a paintball field because I love the game. And they're not doing all of these little things to actually, you know, monetize it the right way and make that conversion. We've been preaching this for a long time on PTG, and you definitely just gave a more detailed, like, you know, a good pathway to do it.
Yeah. The saddest part, Marsh, and I'll just add this last little bit, is that the field owners are so burnt out at this moment because their business is declining. They're not going to do it without the players showing love.
Yeah,
we got to step up, and that's the hardest part. Is that they built this infrastructure, and it's just kind of being beat up over these years. And at this point, I truly believe, this is my personal assumption, is that if we don't step up as the players and say, hey, dude, I really do love what you built for us, and I want to help you in that process, it's not going to happen. The field owners are going to hear this and say, man, I've tried everything underneath the sun and it doesn't work. Where it's got to come a little bit from the players.
Yeah, well, let's start a new trend. You know, tag PTG in any type of media that you do. Cut some pieces of paper and print. Yeah, do something for your local field, and please tag us for some type of affiliate marketing that you're doing. It really isn't that much money either. You just get some, you know, print out some pieces of paper, you cut them, and you hand them out and talk about paintball. So let's start a trend where if you're out there, please maybe try to get some affiliate marketing going for your local field. Tag PTG. We'll repost it on the Instagram and show love for it as well. And let's try to start a new trend where we really dig deep for the local communities to get some more traction going to these local fields and stores, you know, at your local store as well. Do something where you can partner with people who are loyal customers, always there, and get the good word out about paintball. I love that. And, you know, PTG is all about solutions, because there's always going to be problems. You know, we're going to have hurdles. We're always going to have hurdles. And I love that this is a space where we can find solutions for, you know, or at least think of solutions and help in some type of way to get the ball rolling in the right direction. I love that, Kyle. That was great.
Love it. Is it okay we pivot to ESPN? Because I got a question for Tyler.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Tyler, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed the style, the pace. It was a whole new form of paintball that was like, I don't know, it felt super athletic with the form that right now, obviously we have split deck. You play your point, then you go off and you sit for a minute or maybe 3 minutes or maybe 7 or maybe 10 minutes, you know, sometimes. And the pace felt like a real sport. I felt like, damn, this is a sport. You are gassed, bro. like after playing several points, point after point after point. And I think that the 30 seconds is a very quick turnaround. I think that we can get that to maybe 45, somewhere in there, to give the player an extra breath. And also for the commentary, I think that that's where you can get that good, like 10-second slow-mo where Matty or Tizzle is saying, yo, this is where the game broke open. Boom. There's some different types of camera angles I think we can implement. But with what we had been given it and the parameters that we had, the time frame that we had, we did that in such a short amount of time to put that all together. I think that the guys crushed it. I got to show major love to Mike and Brett. Mike was directing, Brett was producing down at the field. Jason, Tom, the ownership group, everybody that made this thing come to life, just to at least show the world, hey, paintball is a thing. Pro paintball, tournament paintball, we're here. It's the first time that we've ever had that message really broadcast on a super vast scale. And I think people know about paintball, but it's something that you have to keep ringing the bell. Nobody's going to come and save us. We have to keep ringing the bell. And I think that we're ringing it pretty loud, man. And paintball looks amazing. The way that they captured it, the field, it looked very professional. You had the stadium. The energy of walking into that stadium was something that I'll never forget for my whole life. And I hope that we can grow that feeling for more players. I want to see all of the pro league in stadiums playing paintball in front of crowds, getting people hyped up, and that energy was really special.
Dude, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the athletic thing was funny. Like I had to run 3 of those points back to back because one guy couldn't make it to the box. Bro, I was dead. And it's not long, you know what I mean? You think it's so fast, but just the sprinting back and forth.
It was 100 degrees.
It was so hot, dude. It was so hot. And then, my wife even said it afterwards. She's like, that sport will make us into athletes. Like, that's correct. we're athletes now, but we're really intellectual athletes. Like the ones that are high perform in paintball are all very intelligent individuals that use their athleticisms when need be, where that sport, dude, there was no coaching. Like, I don't know if Dave minimal. Was doing it. Yeah, was Dave was doing anything different, but
there was moments in time where you would get a couple sentences in, like really important. Yeah, because that's all you have. You have 30 seconds by the time you run in, and then that point starts by the time that you like get into the pit. The other point's pretty much starting, and then it only lasts 30 seconds. So you got to hustle your ass back across the field and get ready to go again and run around and then run back into the pit and then run back out there. It just was nonstop.
Dude, yeah, it seemed like even if you were playing every other point, which is what most people were, you still only had about a minute and a half break, which is less than the 2 minutes. Yeah, if you're lucky, Yeah. So no, it was a very, very fast pace for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
It was.
Dude, from a viewer standpoint, because I got to watch as well. I did just think it was too fast. Again, I think it's so important that we put the focus in the right things. And Rainey makes a really good point. Paintball still hasn't found its whole cam, like in poker, where the camera that shows the viewer the actual cards in each player's hands, right? Which allows you to connect and like play the hand with them.
Yeah, true.
And that was like a huge turning moment for poker when it kind of blew up. It was obviously the $1 million cash prize, but the whole cam was a massive, massive development for poker.
Dude, March, what if like with this format, before each point, there's like a camera or something behind the box and the players, they say to the camera, all right, this is what we're going to do. And they tell the audience what their plan is so that everybody kind of knows the plan. And then boom, you break out. But you only have like 5 seconds to tell the audience your plan. And then boom, you break out.
Yeah, you don't have much time. That would be cool. Again, like some sort of FaceTime. I think that like in practice could get difficult because if you can't get there in time, you can't count on it.
I'm just thinking outside the box. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. Maybe something like on the coach's paper of, a drawn out play or something.
Yeah.
People would argue that the opponent could listen in, but again, you create,
you don't have time.
That's a cheating scandal. Yeah. Not in this format. Not in this format. That's for sure.
But Tom even said it. Tom said he's been arguing that too fast is a problem, and this proved it.
Yes, 100%. Because watching the 3-on-3, it just, to me, it wasn't interesting and I was really excited for it because I'm a fan of 3-man. I think 3-man is a great opportunity to showcase some big moves and some exciting play. But I think paired with the size of the field, which I understand why we had to, have those restrictions and all of that for this. I understand that it's not going to be the way forward, but it definitely was too fast. It was just kind of, people are going at each other and then they're dead. And you're like, wait, what happened? And there's not enough time to show instant replays or break anything down. So it's like, to me, I think even for the average viewer, which was our goal wasn't really to cater to paintball players. It was to cater to like the average viewer. I think it actually did more of a disservice as far as being able to understand our game. So yeah, I think like 45 seconds in between is a little better. And I think it's just really important to have instant replays. And again, I always bring this analogy into it, but a NFL football game is an hour long, but you watch it for 3 hours. A lot of that are ads and commercials, but a lot of it is instant replay and commentators. And the commentators are such a massive part of making the viewer understand the significance of a certain moment, the importance of a certain move, the strategy behind certain moves. This is like, I want us to put all of our eggs into that basket, into finding ways to film this thing. To me, it's not the format. It's just not. So changing the format is not the issue in my opinion.
We were shoehorned into having obviously 4 teams in 1 hour, but I think 100%. In the future, I think it would be really entertaining if you did the top 2 teams and you gave that top 2 teams the whole entire hour, and maybe you make the match 20 or 30 minutes. It's going to be a grueling match with a halftime at the 10-minute mark or the 15-minute mark. And you're going to have tons of time for commentary and slow-mos. And then this particular field layout was very interesting because both of your players going to the Dorito side and the Snake side could see the opposite angled player. So if I'm on the Snake side, I could see the Dorito side player, and we're just going to pull up and start blasting each other. And it was the same exact thing. My Dorito player could see the Snake side on the cross, and people were getting annihilated off the break. So I don't know if maybe you can add, we talked about this as well, some like pins maybe in those cuts to allow for a little bit more of a dance off, where you pull up and you got this pin that blocks you 2 out, and you guys are both kind of hiding behind it and having to play that pin in a certain way to where it accentuates the creativity off the box as opposed to just players getting blasted. I think that would be a cool element. And then it will also allow for more players to be on the field, which would inherently slow the game down and create creativity, because you're going to have more bodies to deal with and have to work through those problems in the same way that we do in a 5v5. When it gets to a 3v3, we have to crunch these numbers, figure out where the guns are looking, who's out there, where they're at, all these different pieces of information. And I think that when you lose 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 players off the break in a 3-on-3, maybe 1 from each side or maybe 2 from each side, you're going to have a very fast form of paintball. So I think that there's a couple little things that we can do, but this wasn't the end all be all. It's just a starting point. And it was cool because paintball is pretty simple. They're over there, we're over here, eliminate all of them, get the point, you win, So in that regard, it's not a complicated game, but there are so many nuances that we need to highlight to give the game more texture. And I think by doing a couple little things that we can really accentuate those things.
Yeah, another thing that I noticed too, because I watched like the 5 minutes after, which was the wiffle ball. It's so difficult in paintball to make it personable because we're covered in gear. So Ty, I do kind of like your idea with the tank tops as well, because it shows a little bit of the athlete, which I don't think people realize that they connect with that. Like I'm watching the wiffle ball player warm up and I'm like, that dude's kind of jacked. He's an athlete. Like this is kind of cool. I'm watching him go through his technique, his motion. I can see his technique a little better because, you can see skin, you can see the body. And you're like, this is interesting. There's a face to it. You kind of resonate with that. Whereas in paintball, we're like out there like Darth Vader, and like, I get it. I know other sports are successful like that. You look at like motocross or, skiing and stuff, in that regard. But I think if we could do something again to connect the fan to the player, that's what we've been talking about this forever. And this solidified it even more for me that we need to put more importance on and more attention to telling the story of the game. Like what I think was the greatest takeaway from this ESPN thing, one is the professionalism and how everything looked was special. Like it looked really cool. It's so cool to see, in that stadium on beautiful grass, like Maddie and Todd's little area was so cool. Like all of it was really cool in that regard. Get rid of split deck. Obviously, everyone knows that. That's only something that we do because of fitting all the games into a certain amount of time at the events. But for TV or for, streaming or pay-per-view or whatever, however we decide to broadcast professional paintball, yeah, like even 5-on-5 the way it is now with 45 seconds in between, you would have to play 10 guys, maybe 11 or 12, right? It's really fast paced. You still have time for the, interviews and replays. You structure it with like maybe 4 quarters even, so that you can have breaks after 5 minutes. And the analysts can talk about why that first quarter went the way it did and what big moves happened in the first quarter. Oh, Kyle Berry went back to back in this one, had 2-2-packs. He really put the team on his back here. Tyler Harmon saved this point. That's the stuff that's going to make the viewer care. It doesn't matter how much action, how slow, how this. And I realized that from watching, because there was tons of action. It was like, well, it's still not very interesting because the commentators aren't telling me why it's interesting, and I know the game, but the commentators have to tell you why it's interesting. Their emotional capabilities up there, like how animated they are, how intense they are in different moments. Those are all things that really matter from a broadcast perspective.
Welcome to PTG World, the ultimate paintball community where the game never stops and the vibes are always elite. Inside our Discord chat, you'll find nonstop action in rooms like the Players Chat, Gear Talk, PB Fashion, News, the Media Gang channel, and the exclusive Guest Questions channel where you get to ask our weekly podcast guests anything you want to be answered live on the PTG show. But it does not stop there. We also host monthly Goat Squad live hangouts for our GOAT tier members, packed with giveaways, laughs, and nonstop behind-the-scenes shenanigans. It is a full hour of community fire with the most amazing people who are locked in every day for the love of the game. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned pro, PTG World is your front row seat to the pulse of paintball. Click the orange Patreon link at ptgpodcast.com and join the party. Once again, that is ptgpodcast.com. Click the orange link, and we will see you in the chat.
It's in all the top sports.
They bring the emotion, right? Like last year, I tried I think I told you about this, Marsh. I went to a bunch of different professional games. I went to a basketball, hockey, football games, and I went and watched these games to understand what they were doing to bring the energy to the players. And football was the best example that I have, because football, amazing sport. The grandstands were absolutely packed, and I'm watching this game go on. And right before the hike, it goes dead silent. Ball gets hiked, the play goes on, it's dead silent. Nothing happens, right? Maybe it was a fumble. Maybe it was just like a tackle. They gained like 2 yards, whatever it might be. Nobody cheered. None of the stands got excited. And then the stadium blew up. They started playing music. They started pumping up the people. They created emotion. And one thing the viewers didn't see from watching on ESPN is that we had a guy that was walking around in the stands with a mic that knew nothing about paintball, but was hyping up all the players. And Ty, did you hear the grandstands when you were playing at all?
Yeah, for sure.
So I heard them a little bit, and I usually try to keep my ears open, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. My wife took some videos while she was sitting in the grandstands, and they were blowing up the whole. People were screaming, they were coaching, but it doesn't really resonate onto the field when you're in that such a fast-paced environment. You're not catching those small, I could hear my teammates' voices came through the noise, and I could hear that fine, but I couldn't hear the grandstands going off. But they were energetic and they had energy behind them, and that was because it was created. It doesn't just come naturally, right? Correct. It doesn't. When people show up to this stuff, they're not through their skin to watch a game. They're excited to be there a little bit, but the real energy comes from the environment that we create, and we develop that environment. Yes, us as the show, we're the athletes that were being put on stage to show the game. Yeah, we're supposed to be there for being the entertainers, but like as you said, Marsh, if there's not somebody there explaining why it's a big deal and hyping it up as a big deal, it doesn't become a big deal. It just 100%. It's nothing. You know what I mean? So, that's a big thing. And I think that's another thing that they pulled from it is like, we need, if we're going to have World Cup where we have packed grandstands and we're going to sell these VIP tickets and all that, you need a guy with a mic there pumping those people up, man. You need someone there bringing the energy to the consumer so they share the energy with us as the athletes so we can perform better and better and better. It doesn't mess with our game in any sort of way. Like it's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make people excited about paintball. we play it because we love it. But at the end of the day, we're going to the spectators and say, what'd you think? What'd you think of the game? How was it? That's our first question every time. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot of good lessons that I think the NXL, MLPB absorbed from this whole thing with ESPN, the professionalism, the overall time structuring, the way we can play the game, and then really how to put on an event, because that was, in my mind, the most powerful thing was the fact that we probably had, I'm going to assume, like 250, maybe 300 people showed up. Ty, if you think there's less or more, let me know. But
there's a lot of people. Yeah, it was good.
That's what I would assume. And they were all ecstatic by the end of it. They felt the energy, even though it was going fast. Like, again, I'll bring my wife.
The viewing experience when you're there is much different than what you would experience through the phone or the TV. They were raging. They were having fun in the stands. And that, think about when you go to a football game or when you go to a baseball game or a basketball game, the energy is in that stadium. It is, like you guys are saying, it's created. It's this thing that comes alive, and it's super important. And it has to be obviously live at the stadium and driven through the show. And yeah, we got to make sure people are just stoked when they show up and watch paintball.
That's what sells tickets. The sales tickets is that they get that feeling only there. And it's not because it's a game being played. It's because that stadium, like we've been doing it since the Coliseum days. Do you know what I mean? The stadium.
That's right. Yeah.
Creates the energy.
I think also the fact that the stadium was raised makes it, and a little further back, it makes it a little more difficult for you guys to make out what they're saying, which I've talked about that for a long time too. I think they should, in the NXL, they should have a stadium kind of like that, have the bleachers like back in the day they used to. The bleachers were much higher. If you remember, like PSP days, World Cup, have the bleachers a little further back and a little higher and allow fan participation. Don't allow coaching. So if you have someone like that's on a roster and I get like that could get kind of messy, you definitely don't have a designated coach area. And if you have like someone that's part of your organization that's in the stands coaching, there's some sort of, penalty or whatever, but allow fan participation. Because at the end of the day, like if it's back enough and high up, they're going to be able to view things, just fine. And allowing them to scream and yell is like, that's sports. That's part of it.
That's right. Yeah. Especially as this grows and say that we have, 500, 600 people around watching it, you're not going to be able to make out anything. It's just going to be madness going on in the crowds. Yeah. It was pretty funny. Every time there was a one-on-one, the whole entire crowd would be chanting one-on-one, one-on-one. So like everyone always knew when it was a one-on-one, which was, they got excited and I'm sure it pumps the players up too when they, okay, it's on. It's 1v1. Let's get it,
Yeah, we can't dishonor it. We can't disregard the energy from the spectators. Like we have to motivate that. Like I it's a bad story, but I'll say this one story because it's really important for, I think, that the event holders to understand. I had a young kid that was a superstar that I was training back in Florida who was really, really coming into his own and really starting to play really good. His mom comes to watch one of the events. This is a local little MVPS event, right?
Yeah.
He does a great move. Mom cheers and freaks out. They get a minor. His son gets pulled from it. She stopped coming to the events. He eventually stopped getting supported. It destroyed their overall viewership of the sport, right? So like there's a real bad repercussion if we don't if we don't create the energy, we get what we have today, which is like people are watching, but they're not too excited. But that's created from us saying no coaching, no talking, like. It's like golf out there. We ain't playing golf, bro. Like I love golf, but this ain't golf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we have to understand if we're going to make a high intensity extreme sport where we want spectators to love this as much as us and get excited and get pumped up, that's the energy we have to bring to them as they're there and let them flow at that energy. Right. Like, and you're right, Mark. There's a gray area for coaching and stuff like that. Right. But I'm telling you, the speed that we had to play for that NXL, there's no checking off on the sidelines to see if someone's holding up a sign or saying what. It's just, it's too fast to do those things. So there is I believe that this first step that we had with ESPN not only opened the door with those individuals, with not just ESPN, but all of those major broadcasters to see the value of paintball, but it should give us very black and white understanding of the values. Hopefully, we don't change who we are. That's what my biggest fear is that
Correct.
we come in and let ESPN decide what paintball is, and that shouldn't.
Well, and not even to be fair, not even ESPN, right? It was still on the Ocho. Like, we cannot let the Ocho dictate what our sport is, because it was apparent that our sport was so much more professional than all the other sports that we were watching. Like even the commentary, the seriousness, the everything was like, our sport is a legitimate sport. It really is, So no, I agree, Kyle. Like, I think it's very important that we don't allow just because of some ratings to completely change our game into something that it is not. And again, like Tyler already said, it's not the end all be all. Thomas said that many, many times. And so if like this version can service us by getting more eyes on the game somehow, that's great. But I don't want that to deter us from putting our eggs in the basket that I think is most important, which is, again, telling the stories, doing a better job with instant replays, doing a better job with visualization. Like, when you watch stuff, seeing graphics, and like even the pick and paintball graphics, right? Go Sports used to have it with My Fan Wagon when it was all connected, and they would pull up like, oh, Tyler Harmon has X amount of kills in this match, yada, yada. That's the kind of stuff that makes a viewer really care and really enjoy what they're watching. Like, I don't think it's as complicated as some of us are making it out to be. It's actually more simple. You guys both already kind of said it. Let's copy what the other successful sports are already doing. Let's do that. Like, that to me,
they've done so much research.
My money. Exactly. I would bet my money that would get us to the promised land.
They've already done all the research. They did all the work that, that we're saying we need to do to understand it. They've done it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. The one thing that I think deters us a lot is, like, we'll say, hey, let's do what football is doing. Let's do what basketball is doing. But it's like, oh, but they have X, Y, and Z and we don't. Well, the thing that we have to look at is not what they're doing today. It's what they did to get them there. Where in the timeline is paintball comparatively to the timeline to where baseball was at our side? So whereas football was, like, NFL took 60 years to take off. You know what I mean? We're at like 48, 40. Like, there's a similar timeline going on here. And if we look at what they're doing today, yes, that's compounding from their success in the environment that they created. But if we backtrack a little bit in their timeline, we'll find the point of their major changes in their positioning and who they worked with and how they exposed themselves in the right way to get where we need to go. We just have to not look at this as such a black and white of like, they're here, so we need to be here. It's like, no, they got there for a reason. How did they get there? And let's recreate that within paintball. And yes, we know that, like, video has enhanced, that AI animations have enhanced, and use all those things for sure. But when it comes to our recognition in the market of the world of consumers, there's certain things that I think that we aren't doing because we're trying to strive to where football is today instead of doing the steps that football did to get there. It's like a kid trying to jump into pro and just being pro without doing his 10,000 snapshots, without training his running, gunning, without doing all the things, and just saying, hey, I can play paintball, so let me be there. It's like, no, man, we got to go through these steps. Is it grueling? Does it suck? Is it difficult? Do we find ourselves in a volatile position as an industry? Yes, but there's a point in time where that volatility starts to skyrocket and disappear, and we just go on the up and up because we have executed the right steps to be in the right place in front of the right people and shown, again, going back to what I think the biggest problem is, we understood how to sell the program to the general consumer, right? We understood how to approach. I had a mentor back in the day that used to say, Mom in yoga pants will excel paintball further than any other player ever will. Because if we can get every single mom that walks into paintball for the first time and she gets a clear understanding of it within a single elevator pitch, just a one conversation, that will allow her to explain it to her friends and the next people. And that allows the sport to be well understood and well developed across the board. Now, as you said, Ty, there's multiple different ways to play this sport, but we as an industry have to agree this is the epitome of the sport, at least for now. It doesn't have to be that way forever. This is the epitome. Let's sell this. And if we sell the dream, they'll take the steps it takes to get there if they want to go after that dream.
Yeah. You got to create the pinnacle. Yep. And I will say, man, professionalism was on full display out there in Florida. It was like surreal. The playing surface, the care that everyone took. So I'm really proud of us as a sport, and I'm excited for the future. Can't wait to see where everything goes. What did you think about the running clock?
Oh, I love that idea. I think that it It got a little intense. Like we almost lost track of the clock towards the end, especially against you guys in the finals. It was like,
dude, the same thing happened to us when we played Fit. I didn't have any way of seeing the score or the time. So I kept on being like, yo, what's the time and the score? I had like while I'm running out there. And it was something, I don't know, with the screen on that side, but I had a similar experience too. But it was like, oh man,
dude, I went back and I there was a point where I was like last body left and I didn't sprint the flagging because I thought we were up by a point. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to kind of let our team recover a little bit. I'll give it an extra second. I'm going to hit this. We'll be up by 2. We'll be fine. We were down by a point at that point, and it was just so fast. So like even the score, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But still, man, like I would love some more time on the clock to make sure that we can fight to win the match, right? So, and that could be fixed with a scoreboard. That was, they should have had the normal big scoreboard, but I understand that there was limitations to be set up, but it was so fast paced that it was hard to keep track of it. I think the general running clock is a good concept. Obviously can't do it with split deck, right? I mean, it just throws it out the window, but it's a good concept for any TV because that way we can have solidified. We know how long the match is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely a unique experience running around back and forth. Obviously, the first match that we played, we're like, oh damn, this is different. Okay, this is a different ball game we're playing right now because you had to be on your horse running back and forth to make sure you got there in time. And then in the finals, what a great game, man! It was back and forth the whole entire time. I think we changed leads like 5 times. So for viewership, I think that was exciting to see. Oh damn, Dynasty got this one, Impact got this one, back and forth. And then at the very end, it just came down to that last point. And Yarber went and tried to, I think, bunker Dalton in the corner.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the point that solidified the win. Because after that, we were able to go out there, and I think there was like 15 seconds left, and we were up 1 point at that point.
And Blake didn't make it to the damn box.
Yeah, I know, dude.
That was...
Because they tried to turn him.
I know that. Why did they turn? Why'd you turn him? Why'd you turn him, Kyle?
It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible.
Why'd you do it?
That's a good question, dude. The crazy part is that I can remember our matches in the NXL like almost point for point. Like I can remember.
This was a blur.
It's a blur, man. It was a lot happening, especially at that point, because right at the end there, I was the one that had to run a few back to back because this guy couldn't make it or that guy couldn't make it or he had to sit. So, dude, that point where Blake went through and got shot, I had just filled. I was on the snake side with Blake. I lost him. He disappeared from my view. So I thought I was in a 2-on-1. I swing over to the D side to get lost. Yeah. As I slide into the Aztec, I puke in my mask. Like whoa. I was gassed. I puked in my mask, spit it out, and then I see both Dalton and I think it was Brandon both on me, and I lost the gunfight after that. But at that point, I was, dude, my body, and I trained for it. I was like, I ran a mile in Florida when I got there just to make sure I was ready for the heat. But I said earlier,
it's a different pace. Yeah, it's a different pace. I think that's one of the cool things from a playing perspective is you're definitely constantly in flow state. As soon as the match starts, there's no downtime. So you're in flow state, which is, any athlete's dream to be forced into that.
That's what I loved the most, March, is I felt like I was just in it the whole time.
Yeah. 100%. No, I do think you create the same thing by getting rid of split deck though, too. Split deck is just the ultimate. It's the worst thing, from a player perspective. I can't stand split deck, but that it just kills any momentum. We were at the WC this weekend and it's like, we had like a great first point, good opening moves, goes fast, quick, it's like a 45-second point. And then the next point is like 6 minutes and we're just sitting there waiting, and all that momentum that we worked for and opened up for, it's out the window. You're like starting a fresh match, So I really, really don't like it. But I understand why the organizers have to do it. It's just from like a broadcasting standpoint, we will get there eventually, to where we don't have to have that.
We've talked about also like highlighting certain games and kind of just no more split deck. Maybe there will be 2 games going at once, but we just focus on one of them for the viewership, right? For the viewers.
Yeah. And part of that is, and this would help with other things as well, the commentators being in a like insulated room, with like a sound barrier kind of thing, so that they could also get as loud and animated as they want. Because sometimes the commentators are like, they don't want to get too loud because, you know, it's a snake battle going on and they're right there, and they don't want to coach basically, you know. But if they were in a room like that, they would be able to only focus on one game, really get animated, really go over replays. I mean, I love that idea, Tyler. I think it's, you know, and people are like, oh, well, you know, teams are going to be upset if they're not on it. I mean, it is what it is. The NFL, every industry, like,
I mean, what are we talking about?
If you're a bigger market and you bring bigger viewers or more viewers, then you get the primetime channel. So same thing in paintball. If it doesn't matter what place your team's in,
then work your ass off to be the fucking primetime and work harder.
Build fans. Exactly. If you have a lot of people that watch your games, you're going to have a primetime game.
Actually, that would probably drive more of our individuals to do that kind of stuff. Because right 100%. Now people don't really do it at all. So maybe we need to implement that so that it drives people to do it. I don't know.
That the one problem you go back to split tech. I mean, the last event we had a single point that was 11 minutes, 12 minutes. Yeah. So if you're only highlighting if you're only highlighting the one game, the other game is just sitting there. You know what I mean? Nothing's
that's
happening.
True. That's 100% true.
That's tough. Ty,
so that wouldn't really work.
You can't do it actually.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. Yeah.
Did you ever shoot both your pods?
I shot one. I never got to the second one, but I did shoot. I shot one a couple times. And then once, like March said, this flow state kicked in and you really get into the rhythm of it. I was probably using a loader and, you know, I'd get one or two and with just the loader. And it's funny because Marcelo, on Impact, when we went to Texas and we did that crazy format with just the loader. Remember how devastating, devastating, dude.
But we won though.
We won all of them. We had a loader and they had what, 3 pods or something?
Yeah, 2 or 3 pods. So not only
we had a loader.
Yeah, but not only did we only have, so one of the formats they tested, we had a loader and 4 bodies, and the other team had like 2 or 3 pods and 5 bodies. So like the team down bodies also had less paint. It was like, and Tyler and our line won every point.
We won every single one of them.
It was hilarious of the like down body ones. We went into it too. I'm like, this is so stupid. What? We're just like, we're just getting, you're just going to let us get bunkered and worn out. Fine, let's do it. And then we ended up winning all of them.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was. It was wild.
It was fast pace. But fellas, I know we're on a little bit of a time crunch today. Let's dive into summer camp. Obviously missed that. You were out there, Kyle. How was that?
Oh, I will vouch for summer camp and any conversation ever. I mean, you know, March, it is,
dude, I know.
You, Tyler, dude. Yeah. It is the best, bro. And the one thing that really got to get across is just, it says summer camp, but it's not made for kids. Every high level player that shows up to that, and there's never a bunch of them. There's always 1 or 2 that shows up. That's like, they're playing the Premier League, WCPPL, they're D2 or semi-pro. They get so much from the summer camp. They get so much from it. And
well, look how much you learned from coming out there.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, I'll say it all day. Coaching will teach you just as much as playing, right? Yeah, understanding the game of 5 helps a lot. And then having to do it to explain it to, you know, a little 11-year-old kid and a 35-year-old semi-pro too, and in different variations, right, is just a very good test for the mind. It really works the mind and understanding what's the difference in the complexity of, you know, when I'm just doing a basic level, how do I snap, to when I'm snapping at full capacity against some of the best shooters in the world, what is my differentiations there and how do I actually bring it in? But I mean, Anthony and Lori continue to make it better. They continue to work. Like this year we got a whole extra day of paintball that was all one-on-one focused on the first day, where we brought Tommy Greenleaf out there and he kind of helped out with talking about how he won the Hormesis tournament. The whole thing flew pretty well. And then we had Connor Kelly and Joe Baird out there for the first time as new professors, and just their different energy and just their positioning of how they see the game. Super powerful, man. And again, I hope next year the thing sells out even faster, and we get some more high level players in there, because you know, you have some of the, you know, Marsh, I hope you get to show up again. Tyler, I hope you come as a professor again and we have an opportunity to work on it together. But you guys all know that, like, there's so much knowledge there. There's so much fun at the same time, but it's all focused on just everybody leaving that camp a little bit better at paintball.
Yeah, it's one of the best experiences, man.
Truly one of the greatest events. One of my favorite ones that I've looked forward to every single year. Anthony and Lori just do such a dynamite job across the board with all sorts of stuff. You and I are actually going out back to Boston this weekend for Team USA, which is amazing. We have practice with the women's team. I think there's going to be a vet line out there, U16 and U19. So Yeah,
Let's
Kyle
go
and
USA.
myself will be hosting that. Yeah, we're going for the three-peat across the board. The kids are going for their 4th in a row, which is pretty epic, you know. Really looking forward to getting to work on the layout. Layout looks fun, looks interesting. So, you know, looks pretty dynamic. We got a lot of weapons. But yeah, what are you looking forward to the most going out to work with the kids this weekend?
Dude, every single time we do this for Team USA, especially when we get to this practice this weekend, I'm just looking forward to being around a bunch of players that are really selfless, that care about all of America, you know, playing paintball and performing, and then the desire to get better even in a single weekend. Like you're talking about 14, 15-year-old kids that are just fully ingrained, no butterflies, no craziness, nothing like that. They're just loving the sport of paintball, and they truly do want to represent the name on their chest, which this one is USA. It's the Nations Cup is getting, I don't want to say harder and harder every year, but it never gets easier. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? Like the other countries, like now we have a Canadian team coming in, we have a Mexico team coming in headed by Arturo. Like all these other countries are seeing America go in and win, and it's not like they're like, oh, America's the best. They just get more angry and more pissed off that we win every year, and they're fighting for it, man. They're fighting across the board. So my biggest excitement is, one, just getting those kids together so that they become a team, and then two, just the energy that they have, that they have to just get better throughout a weekend and really take this so seriously, and to see that as a young kid, out of a young kid, super powerful, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Keep up the good work out there, everybody. Can't wait to see USA dominate. Let's go. And then Ant and Lori, thank you so much for continuing to put on for the community with everything that you do with the combines, BKI, summer camp. And I love that you also made it super clear to everybody that it's for all ages. Just because it's a camp, I don't know if you got to make it into the BKI paintball training event or something like that. I don't know, but it is for everyone. So if you get an opportunity, definitely sign up, and it'll be a life-changing experience. You're going to learn so much and be able to, like we talked about earlier, just bounce ideas off of different people, get different looks, and get some of the best competition you could ever ask for at a training event.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, KB, we're going to hop into the Discord, take some questions. This one is a good one. I believe this is from Mark Daniel, MRKDNL. How does playing with the cameras rolling influence your gameplay? What steps did you take to prepare for the public spotlight?
I mean, I'm out there to shoot people. The camera just might get in the way, but it doesn't change the fact I'm out there to shoot people. You know what I mean? And honestly, I thought that being in the stadium was going to change my perception of the game, and like to get me a little nervous or something like that. But it didn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it affected any of the real players, just because once you had the four best teams in the world there competing, and they were all there for paintball, to represent paintball. And you guys know, as soon as you hit the box, right, the nerves are gone. As soon as you actually hear the buzzer go off, it's just a whole different world. But that's, that question itself, I don't think any of us as professionals at maybe your first year in pro, because I'm not going to lie, World Cup seemed bigger than the ESPN event, right? It was in the stadium, and that was cool. But like, when you show up to World Cup and there's that many people and there's all these people watching, and you're walking through the event and you have this person saying hi and that person, and all these people are watching, the cameras are less than the fact that you want to put on not only your best performance for your team, but a good show for the viewers, right? I love the Kobe mentality of there's somebody in that stands that came to watch me for the first time, and I want to make sure I put on a show for them every single time. You know what I mean? And we're not, I don't think as players we really put on a show for the viewers. We're just trying to play our best paintball, and I think that breaks through all the camera, all the noise, all of that. It's just wanting to play the best damn paintball you possibly can. Especially me, man. I'm trying to earn my damn playing time on Dynasty. I'm trying to get that spot. So I don't care if there's cameras or interviews. I'm just trying to be the best player I can be.
There we go, dude.
Nice, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun one. It was definitely World Cup hits different, dude. It just always does. It's the energy at that tournament, and you want to make sure. Obviously, we're athletes and we're performers, but yeah, we are also putting on like a spectacle for everybody, and you want to give them the best damn show you possibly can every time you step out there. Not only for them, but for yourself. Carrying that big energy onto the field and being the best player you can be. All right, we got. Let's see. We got quite a few. Thank you to everybody tapping in here. Ken E, biggest takeaway from BKI summer camp.
You will always have the opportunity to learn. Yeah, even me, like March, you were saying, like, I learned a lot from it. I do, you know what I mean? I do learn, different perspectives and different ideologies, different ways to say things, but you're never too good to learn, and you're never too good to be in a position where you ask for more information and ask for more guidance and more development. It's been my 3rd or 4th year there now at BKI summer camp. And no matter what, every time I get around, even, every time you and the 3 of us sit down, I get to talk to you guys about paintball, you learn something, as long as you're willing to learn, right? I think that's the biggest lesson, is that the teacher arrives when the student is ready. And you have to keep that in mind. You have to constantly be the student.
Love that, dude. Yeah. Totally agree. All right. CM Harry wants to know, what's the major difference between Dynasty and the Kings?
Jeez. Professionalism. If I had to put a single word to it, no, it's not that. It's not that. It is. Yosh Rao said it the best. I just want to know that I can win. I can win. Not that we're going to win, that I can win. And with Dynasty, at all times, at every point, no matter who it is on that team, we all have the mentality, we can win. We can win this. And that energy is just so powerful. Where on the Kings, it felt like I was the one guy that always felt like we had the opportunity to win. And I was trying to distill that into other people. And it wasn't always apparent with everybody else, right? And that one change of the mentality of that we can win this is the biggest thing, in my opinion.
Perfect. Nice.
All right, we got Daniel Walbert. And thank you once again to everybody. If you want to join in on the chat, go to our website, click that orange Patreon link at ptgpodcast.com and join us in PTG World. He's wondering, what has been the biggest challenge for Dynasty to overcome this year throughout the rebuild?
I think Alex said it best at the end of ESPN, where, like, when 2 years ago when Marsh and Archie was on the team, they had a really good team of players that could execute well, but at any point, any single one of those players would go above and beyond to go win a point. They would break through the norm. They would just do, and they would execute, and that would bring them back in certain ways. If it's Marsh going from the home and diving into their snake and pulling the point out, or Archie starting the back line and taking off, or Chris Sheard, everyone had this mentality that, yes, they were doing their job, they were part of a team, and they were executing their role, but they would break out at a single point and just go to win the point. And I think in the rebuild, with, especially like with me and Joe and I talk about it a lot of times, where it's like when things get tough, we kind of turtle up into what we were, right? We were that player that could do a certain role or be a very specific guy, and we would do that instead of being the guy that will break the mold and go out to win the game no matter what. And that, I think, is the one thing that we're missing at the current moment, to go from, these seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths to winning the actual event, is that when things get tough, we have to remember that Dynasty mentality of always go to win.
It's great advice, man. You got to play to win. You got to play to win. That's the name of the game. If you don't play to win, you're probably not going to win. Yeah, that's good advice for all divisional players, man. And Kyle, I think that's a great one to leave us off on. Definitely appreciate your time, as always. Sorry this was a little shorter one, but you're welcome back anytime, dude. I love hearing you talk paintball. You got a seat here, whenever you want. So thank you for everything you're doing on the back end as well. Looking forward to seeing you this weekend. And yeah, if you want to give any shout outs, anything, anywhere people can keep up with you and follow, now's your time.
Yeah, I mean, just Instagram is the best place for paintball. That's where I keep it. Just KyleBerry_PB. You guys follow me on there, message me. I have training regimens. If you guys need any advice, if you guys just want to talk paintball, I do, like these guys have both said, I'm a nerd at the sport. I love the sport. I love everything about it, and I want to represent it. And then just a huge shout out to everything that Dynasty has given me an opportunity for this year, and to be a part of that, from PFB Gear Field 1, GI Sports, Hormesis, everything that has to do with Dynasty, I have absolutely fallen in love with because the team gives that environment. And then, thank you to YouTube. I mean, thank you for creating a stage, creating an opportunity for people like me to talk and sharing paintball. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for letting me on the show.
Dude, thank you, brother. Thank you for your time. I've actually got a shout out as well, March. I'm sorry. August 10th, we're doing a streamers paintball event in Los Angeles. One of these streamers is going to win $20K, so that's pretty exciting. I think we're going to have like 40 or 50 streamers from the Los Angeles area that are going to be streaming paintball live to get more eyes on it. So that's going to be a fun one. And then also, if you go to my Instagram, I'm doing a giveaway. It's going to be a pretty legendary little care package on my most recent unpinned post about the ESPN commercial. So go over there, get a comment in, and get entered in for that. And Kyle, thank you so much, brother, for everything you're doing behind the scenes and in paintball in general, bro. Nothing but much love and success your way. And I can't wait to see you soon at one of our next stops. Where are we going? Texas? We're headed out there soon.
Texas.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
I'll see you this weekend, Marsh. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, guys.
All right. Later, bro.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to the show. We appreciate your support more than you know. As you guys heard about midway through the episode, if you guys would like to support PTG in any way, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com. You could click the orange Patreon link and sign up at any level and get access to our Discord. The Discord is one of the most phenomenal communities in the game of paintball. We have so many different channels in there. It's great for learning. It's great for connecting, finding teams, selling equipment, whatever it is you want to do in there. We truly have it all, and we hope to see you in there. So again, head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the orange Patreon link, and we will see you in there.